Method Mindset, episode 34, with Cory Allen and me, Chris Trainer. Hello, Cory.
Hello, Chris.
All right, episode 34, coming off of a fantastic weekend at the gym. We had our Women Wad and Wine event and our Bros, Beers, and Barbells, which is the 5th year in a row we've hosted these events, and
Year 5.
they just keep getting better and better.
Yeah, we weren't invited to the women one, obviously, but all the pictures and videos looked awesome. We don't have anyone here to really comment on it, but
Yeah.
it looked great. The costumes were out of this world.
They look like they have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think there's some more fitness going on in the Beers, Bros, and Barbells one. They definitely look like they have a lot more fun in the Women Wad and Wine.
That we had over 65 dudes competing in the Bros, Beers, and Barbells, and every single one of them was trying to win.
To win, yeah.
From the 25-year-olds to the 65-year-olds. No one was not giving everything they had.
That first workout, what started on the bike, 3 minutes max calorie bike, and we're like, Gage and I got thrown on teams just with members of the gym. We're like, all right, we're just gonna go and gotta have fun. It's gonna be great. And 3, 2, 1, go. I didn't think everyone was gonna be going that. We got on the bikes and it was just wow. Everybody was biking as hard as possible. I was like,
yeah,
okay, this is actually gonna go here.
None of the women sold their souls.
No.
Every dude in that first workout sold their soul.
Oh yeah, on the bike.
They would have signed on the dotted line to the devil to be able to win that workout.
To be bad. And Dakota is 11 feet tall. I'm like, Dakota, what's the lowest you can bike on? I asked him first, what do you bike on? He goes, usually a 10 or an 11. I said, okay. That ain't happening. I can't even put my feet on the pedals if it's that high. I said, I'll give you an 8. That's as high as I can go. And he was like, I'll just stand the whole time.
The bike has a stop. It has a stop. When you raise the seat up to a certain level, after the last number, which I think is 11
stops it.
It says stop. It says, it's written out, stop.
I didn't. Yeah. I've never needed to put the bike that high. So
Dakota bikes on stop.
On stop all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was smashing the bike.
So you could literally stack up 4 Melissa Doers.
Yeah.
And that would be,
the height of
Dakota bikes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
The women in the Women Wad and Wine, they give up their placing to have fun. Joe and Christy, who dressed up like me and had baby Carlins with them.
Yeah, they held it the entire time.
Holding it, changing the diaper in between.
Yeah.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, and Melissa and Mikkel always
they were in character the entire time.
Yeah, they're always so good.
Yeah. I think they won the best costume because they stayed in, I think
they never come out of character.
Yeah, and Jamie and Suze, who talking to Claire were really close into winning. They stayed in character the whole time.
Yeah.
They didn't work out. They
just hung out.
Yeah, and they just on that clean workout, seeing it. And this is just seeing it from Instagram. They had 15 pounds on the bar.
Yeah,
and we're just kind of going. But they were hilarious too. So a lot of fun watching that. Women Wad and Wine.
Yeah,
but. You got on the podium in Bros, Beers, and Barbells.
Snuck my way onto a podium spot on the team, so it was good. Yeah, that was fun. It was Dakota throwing down with Dakota and Gilly was a real good time. Those guys are fun to work out with. So,
and Claire usually she was a ton of help. She did all the heats and scorecards and made those and printed them out. And Tara and the girls help in the background, but usually Claire comes and sets up and everything. Does it. She wasn't there at all this time. It was kind of all on us, you know. And then ultimately, once you guys started working out, the whole competition was on me, and there wasn't a lot of instruction. But I think it went pretty good.
I think everything went smooth on time.
The coolest thing is that everyone helps. Yeah. So we break down right after everyone's dying. They break down the workout, clear it up, set it up. It's just an awesome community feel. No one expects anything,
Yeah.
It's a free entry, obviously, so it's not like people paid $100 and then they expect to work out. Yeah. It's just everyone works together, and
it got done quick. It was boom, boom. It was a good old fashioned Chris Trainer. 10-minute window actually means 3 minutes, between workouts. You're all right, after this first workout, we're gonna start the second heat in about 15 minutes, and 4.5 minutes later.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some barbells loaded.
All right, that's enough.
We got that first.
We're recovered.
Yep. All right, let's get going here.
For those of you that didn't see on Instagram, we had while the scores were being tallied up at the end of the workout, we had a little post competition entertainment.
Yeah. Well, eat a donut,
chug a beer,
bike
30 cows.
30 cows on the bike.
We had 3 people volunteer.
Yeah.
For the chance to win a raised $110.
Yeah.
And it was Johnny West, Andrew Neighbors, and Dakota. And they had to completely consume the donut.
Yeah.
Down to like swallow, show it was swallowed. Each person had a judge. They had to chug their
entire beer.
And then bike
finish the cows.
And it went out, and at 3, 2, 1, go. Dakota takes a massive bite. Johnny takes a massive bite. Andrew takes a massive bite. And it's a clear indication that Andrew's going to run away with the donut. Like, he took a bite, swallowed, took another bite,
swallowed,
and was literally done with that donut 30 seconds ahead of Dakota. Chugged the beer, no problem. Johnny struggled hard.
Johnny had a rough go. Like, his mouth was dry. He must have had a powdery donut. He picked a bad donut, I think. Bad donut choice.
Just, it
wasn't happening.
He's been counting his macros. Yeah. He hasn't had the donuts in a while.
He wasn't in the running on that one. It was, but
Dakota and Andrew were, and so he gets the beer in, but Andrew's on the bike a good 30 to 40 seconds ahead of him and is cranking.
Yeah,
I'm like, Andrew could do this. Yeah. I'm like, he's got a pretty decent lead. Like, we knew that Dakota was going to win on the bike, but then Dakota gets on the bike.
And it was over. Like, I knew
22 settons or something got 30 calories.
Yeah, I knew once Dakota started biking and I was looking at Andrew's bike, like, I could tell how fast he was biking. I was like, that ain't going to do it for 30. Like, he's going to be cutting that short. You better pick that pace up and go a bit. And then Dakota just started ripping the bike, and it was over.
Yeah. And Andrew got to 29 calories. That's the heartbreaking thing for Andrew is like, he was close.
So close. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. The lifting was all a great time. Everyone was throwing down. People were screaming. It was
that was fun.
Yeah. Good times to just throw down with the dudes.
Yeah. Well, that was great. And, the thing we're going to get into today and talk about isn't really conducive to the actions that
we made
that took place yesterday at Bros, Beers, and Barbells because that's a once in a while type of day.
Once a year, celebratory.
Yeah, have the food and the cocktails and whatever. That's not something that we want to do every weekend, every day because I know how much sugar I consumed yesterday, and it was like 3 times the amount I consume in a month, which is okay. I'm fasting pretty much all day today and just to kind of burn through that. But, the topic today was brought to by one of our listeners, and I won't say their name, but it's a loyal listener, and I think it's a great topic that a lot of people probably have questions about. So it's about kind of having to get our loved ones into the gym, people that you really, really care about, that they're not living the healthiest lifestyle, and they need to make some changes, some drastic, some minor. But, this listener wrote, "We all have parents, and we all want our parents to live a long and healthy lifestyle, to see us grow up and get married and have kids, and to be able to spend time with our kids and the grandkids. None of us want to see our parents go before their time because of something that could have been prevented with a proper diet and with proper exercise. Right? Of course. So my father is your typical Texan who has grown up and lived in typical American lifestyle all his life, eating fast food, sitting in front of the television, working a crappy job, etc. He has been smoking cigarettes for 40 years and drinking alcohol for probably the same amount, but both have increased with time. I'm not sure I've ever actually seen him eat a real fresh vegetable or piece of fruit that wasn't deep fried, baked into a pastry or dessert of some kind. My whole life. He's overweight, depressed, always tired, has high blood pressure, mood swings, is on a ton of different medications, and he's on the verge of diabetes and doesn't really seem to care or need to change anything. I love him so much and have tried in the past to push him towards a healthier lifestyle, but nothing has changed. What is the best way, in your guys' opinion, to go about getting a loved one to change for the better? How can we influence our friends, family members, kids, etc. to make that change?" Which is heart-wrenching and but pretty common.
Yeah, definitely.
And we see it day in and day out, people coming into the gym that have decided that easy will no longer suffice and that they need to make a change. For me, that happened when I was 19 years old in college and kind of just was at a point where, hey, I don't want to be at this place anymore. I'm going to start making some changes, and it didn't happen overnight. It's taken years and years and years. but I realized something, and I started making changes, and that's when, you know, I started, and I've told it several times before, of mixing regular soda with diet soda. That was the first change, you know, and so, you know, for you, Cory, that was, you were like 23, 24 years old.
Yeah, like 23. I was just done eating burritos and pizza and drinking every night, and, you know, living the kind of crazy lifestyle that I was living, and knew I needed to make a change and didn't want to feel crappy like that anymore. And that was kind of just the first step. And luckily for me, my dad was in fitness at that time, and, you know, he was already doing triathlons. I knew I didn't like doing that, but luckily for me, he started doing CrossFit, and I fell in love with that once I did it. So it was kind of an easy segue for me.
But you were inspired by your dad.
But I was inspired by him.
And that's what we wanted to get to is, what type of things did your dad do, or were you inspired by when you were beginning to make those changes?
Just how he was always, I mean, he's always had so much discipline when it came to training and when it came to his goals and his health and his lifestyle. And
after he made the change.
Exactly. You know, he made that change, and, you know, I just realized that I didn't want to go down that same path, and I knew that I could end up acting, feeling the same way that he did, and knowing that he did it and made that change and got through it, I knew I could do it too. So it was, you know, a family affair of getting back into it, and it's served us, you know, served our relationship really well. We're closer now because of it, and, you know, we get to train together all the time now, which is awesome. So
yeah, which is, you know, I think when anyone that looks at you and your dad's relationship right now, and the time you get to spend with each other inside of the gym, traveling to competitions, being each other's biggest fans, like, it's remarkable. People really admire it and cherish it and wish that probably they had that for themselves. And, you know, that could have gone down a completely different path.
Yeah.
You know, your dad had you fairly young. You know, he started making his changes when you were probably 12, 13 years old, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But prior to that, it was 12 packs of Budweiser, you know, and
tobaccos,
and the beer gut and all the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he made those changes, and then 10, 15 years later, he inspires you to make those changes. But it could have been a generational something that turned into, you know, your dad continuing on the same path that he was on. You never would have made the changes because you would have been inspired. And now we wouldn't have known each other and be making this podcast about how to help other people.
It would have been so easy if we would have gone the different direction, that my dad would still be drinking a bunch of beers every night, playing in a men's league softball team, and I would have been doing the exact same thing with him, drinking a bunch of beer, playing softball. And that would have been it, you know, and not having a better, healthier lifestyle like we have now. So it definitely easily could have gone that path, and we both would have been, you know, unhealthy, unhappy. You know, it was luckily for us that we were able to make that turn.
Yeah. And so what we see in the gym a lot is, a lot of times, and it's for us, just at our gym in particular, in our demographic, is the wife comes in before the husband. And sometimes couples come together, and that's fantastic when that does happen. But more often than not, the person that starts and initiates the contact with the gym is the female in the relationship. You know, it's most of the time in our demographic, the mom's a stay-at-home mom, or you know, has a career but has got done raising her kids. And she wants to get her life back, and she's self-started and motivated to do that. And a lot of times, the dad's still going down his path of career, kids, you know, and falling into that cycle of suburbia America, and in the idea of going in and doing CrossFit, and it doesn't appeal to him at that point. Right. And so we've got to change the wife first, have her make all these amazing changes, and then she falls in love with the gym, with the tribe, with the community, and then all of a sudden, then the husband's coming in. Yeah. And a lot of times reluctantly at first, but at the same time, you know, he sees what's happening, and he's open-minded and ready to, hey, at least give it a shot.
Yeah, and to make the change too. And
that's what happens is, if you want your family to make a change, you've got to sometimes make some positive changes on your own first. And it sounds like with this particular listener that wrote about this family member, his dad in this case, they're not in the same state.
Right.
His dad's hundreds of miles away. He's not working out every day and then coming home to his dad and getting to speak every single day. So what he could do in this case is fly home and tell his dad exactly how he feels.
Yeah.
What he just wrote down, and to cover this topic, he could say, Dad, this is what I see from you. This is what I want from you. And this is what I'm willing to do to help you.
Yeah.
And just open up the conversation. And his dad may say, I want no part of that. I'm good on the path I'm at. Or he may say, okay, let's make a small change. Teach me how to do some air squats and sit-ups and maybe go walk around the farm. And if you do that 3 times a day, Dad, you're going to be on the path.
Yeah.
You're going to start feeling better. And so I think that the first thing that you have to do is just have a heartfelt conversation with that person, no matter how difficult it is.
Yeah.
Because that's super difficult.
To
tell someone that you love that you're unhappy with the life that they're living is, that's tough.
Yeah, that would be a hard one to have. And it's going to be, sometimes it has to be just a real honest conversation of, this is going to kill you. Like, you're going to die if you don't change your ways. And I don't want that for you. I want you to see me grow up. I want you to see my wife, my children, your grandchildren, the dogs. And maybe hearing that from someone else might, start to get the wheels spinning a little bit for that person. Just knowing that, some people just don't want to do things for themselves. And, but knowing that someone they love is hurting because of it, that might make the change.
Yeah, and so in this instance, in this part of America and in rural America, it's rampant, And I think that a lot of the times, these people don't understand that there's another way and that there's a different way to live, because they don't have organic grocers and 15 gyms within a 10-mile radius. And they have Denny's and they have McDonald's and they have, maybe one gym 30 miles away. And they just don't understand that there's people living healthier lifestyles out there. And so they have to be exposed to it. They're not on Instagram. They're not on Facebook. They're probably not even, plugged into anything happening outside of their, 50-mile radius. And then stuff that's on cable television is fast food commercials, and that's about it. So exposing them to that and say, hey, this is what I do. Would you like to try it with me? And bringing up that generational things like kids and years and years of the happiness that they want to experience together. For some people, it could pull on some heartstrings and get them into action. For a lot of people, that's like, whatever, I'm happy with what I'm doing, and nothing that you say is going to get that changed. So I think that you just got to have the conversation. Yeah,
at least, if anything, at least you brought it up, you initiated the conversation, you got it out there, and, if they don't make the change, it's not for, the lack of you trying.
Yeah. And what it can also do is cause divide. So this is what we see when people live together. So say the wife is coming to the gym and she's making all these positive changes and she's falling in love with the community and a tribe and making new friends, and dad or wife, sometimes it's the husband that comes in first, isn't willing to do that. That can cause a lot of rift and divide, and that's really, really tough to deal with, because what you don't want to do is choose between the gym and your family. Like that's the absolute opposite. You always want to choose your family. But at the same time, when you're getting all these positive benefits out of the gym and this lifestyle that you're living, and the person that you love and care about isn't willing to make those changes, that's a big issue.
Yeah, exactly. You're not choosing going out and partying over your family, or, you're choosing living a healthy lifestyle. Like, you want your family to be a part of that. And, if in our case, it's usually the mom's coming in and doing it, and, the husband or father doesn't want to come in and do it, then, like, where does that lead for the children? Then it's a separation between there. Do they want to stay with mom? Do they want to stay with dad when they go to the gym? Like, having two parents that are healthy and active and in the gym, like, we see it all the time, that the kids coming to the gym into Blade all the time and want to work out just like their parents do. And it's a healthy family lifestyle, and it just goes down the line.
Yeah. I think that you were kind of in a relationship like that in the past, right? Where you're I don't want to talk too much about that, but
just someone that didn't,
didn't support you going to the gym all the time, and it was like, okay, well, this isn't going to work out.
This isn't going to work out. Like, this is my career. This is what I do for a living. This is what I would love to do as a hobby, and it's what I do to compete at as an athlete. Like, that's not going to change in all three of those facets. So it's probably not going to be the best scenario.
And no matter how hard that was, you ended up having to.
Yeah,
and you weren't married. You still had the choice to make there. And
and then luckily for me, I met Julia, and she lives the same exact lifestyle that I do, and I've never been happier. So
yeah, and even before we met Julia, that's you describing of what you were looking for in a partner was Julia fit that mold to a T. So it was
exactly
when you met, boom, it the fire was lit.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to the kids that see their parents, because we only touched on that a little bit. That's one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
Is when kids that are 5, 6, 7, they're starting to free think on their own. They're starting to learn, spelling and arithmetic, and their brains are really developing. And they're going to the gym and seeing mom work out every day. It's the biggest inspiration on the planet.
Definitely.
And like from my own experiences, my mom was a runner when I was growing up, always doing yoga. She's here in the other room, so I don't want to embarrass her too much. But every morning she wakes up, she's still doing yoga. She reads a lot. She's reading a book right now, and in between reading, she goes on walks and she does calisthenics. Like, super weird, just gets up and starts doing calisthenics in the middle of the living room. But she knows how important it is to get that oxygen and blood moving through the body, and that was a paramount example of my entire life. And this morning we were able to go on a hike up a really steep mountain with the dogs, and she's 66 years old in July. In July she will be.
Somewhere around that age.
Yeah. And was up that steep mountain on the Sonoran Preserve, hiking through the rocks, and she's in like these little sandals, just doing it the whole time. She's got Murph with 65-pound pit bull with her under control, and
just handling it.
Just amazing, and she's here cleaning the house and doing the laundry, and she's able to do that because she's done it her entire life, and there was no drop off, and it was super inspirational for me. So parents out there, trust me, your kids are watching, and every day, and I put a post out there on Father's Day, every day you decide to go to the gym, you're setting an example of strength and courage, and your kid's going to be inspired by what you're doing.
Yeah,
so keep it up.
We don't see it any more than, especially, I see it a lot, especially with, the sports performance camp and the youth camps and all of the youth lifters that I have in Barbell Club. They, like, all of those kids that are in that Barbell Club, none of them come from out of the blue. Like, no mom or parents just brought their kid in and said, hey, like, we heard about this and I want my kid to lift. Like, those are all kids of people at the gym. And the reason they're doing that is because they're watching you lift. They're watching their moms lift weight, and now they want to lift weight. Like, it's inspirational for them to watch you do that, and they just want to follow in those footsteps, and that's just going to lead to a healthy childhood, a healthy lifestyle for them.
Exactly. And, there's no two parents out there, and it might be a single parent, or whatever it is. There's no mom out there. There's no dad out there. There's no couple out there that are out there chugging water in the morning, getting their exercise on, getting outdoors, spending time outdoors, that have lazy kids.
Right.
Their kids are going to follow in that example.
Yeah, exactly.
So not that they won't play video games or whatever, but they'll be more inclined, if you're active and getting out there, that they're going to be active and getting out there. So you're the prime example. The hard part is when it's a kid that wants it for their parent. And that's what the real struggle is. And that's what, there is no definitive answer.
Well, yeah, because it's easier when it's your kid. Like, we just got told what to do. Like, my dad was like, hey, you're not sitting inside anymore. Go out. Like, that's all there was to it. If I had to try to tell my dad that, now it might have been an easier conversation, as I'm older and, more of an adult. I'm not really an adult, but I'm kind of an adult.
Yeah, you're
getting
there.
Getting to be an adult. But, like, I can't imagine trying to have that conversation when I was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old in high school or something, if I had a parent that I knew that was unhealthy, like that would have been a lot harder of a conversation to have at that age.
Yeah, so I'd say out there is for people that are going through that and you have a parent or a loved one, wife, husband, brother, sister, that you want to make a change, I'd say have a conversation with them, tell them everything that you're feeling, come from a place of love, not a place of condemnation or putting them down. Come from a place of all-out love that you want the absolute best for them, and then I'd encourage making small changes. Not you're never going to eat fast food again. You can never watch TV again. Yeah. You got to do 2 hours of exercise a day because that's not realistic. That's not going to happen, especially someone that's been doing the same thing for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
It's hey, would you mind taking a walk with me, or would you mind having diet soda? Would you mind not watching TV and doing this with me instead, and making a small change here and there?
Getting the grilled chicken instead of getting the crispy chicken when you go there.
Yeah.
Once a week, and then slowly.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because small changes lead to lifetimes of change. If you try to make it all happen too fast, it just won't work, and that goes for everybody in everything that we do. You're not going to be a master blacksmith after one day. It takes hours and hours and hours in the forge, just banging on that metal. And then one day you're able to make this beautiful blade. And if you went in there and tried to do it overnight and you got this crappy piece of metal that looked like a frozen piece of turd, which is what it usually looks like, that's what you're going to get the first time you go in there. Well, you're never going to do it again if you have this expectation of coming out with this beautiful Japanese sword.
Yeah.
So we'll expand on this topic. If you guys want to hear more about it or have more situations that you guys can send us, email Cory@CrossFitBlade.com, and you can send us individualized scenarios, and we can give you kind of the best advice on how to approach those individually.
That we can, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
How's baby life?
Oh, man.
2, she just turned 2, right? Not too long, not a couple days ago? 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, not 2 years. Yeah, 2 weeks. That's what I meant.
2.5 weeks old.
2.5 weeks old.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad got out a little last night, yeah? You guys got to get away?
Mm-hmm.
Grandma stayed.
Here.
Nice.
Yeah, and, that's the thing is, like, I know how important it is to keep living our lives and doing our thing, no matter how hard it may be. But leaving her with my mom, we were 100% confident that everything is going to be fine. And we even went to church this morning and left her with Grandma, and it was, all good. So it's phenomenal. Every day she's changing. I can't wait till she recognizes me, and can track me, and I blow on her tummy and she laughs and knows it's me. Like that type of stuff I'm really looking forward to, but I'm not rushing it. Everyone says don't rush it. Let it come.
Mm-hmm.
I did get thrown up on massively
today,
this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a lot.
Like after
she just overate, I think, a little bit, and
you picked her up and it was over.
I was just walking around with her, singing and dancing in my arms, and then she got the hiccups, and then it was like, it was massive. And luckily, my mom was right there and kind of grabbed her and got a towel around her, and I went into the bathroom and got a shower. But it literally looked like someone took an entire pint of milk and threw it on me, and just threw it on my chest and shorts and everywhere. But I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was awesome.
Oh man,
yeah. And we got a little youth nationals coming up this weekend.
Yep, driving out for my first national meet. This will be what number for youth? Well, for youth, this will be
youth.
Well, I guess Ruskin had a couple youth ones, right?
Couple youth, yeah. Third or fourth.
Nice.
Third youth nationals. 10th or so national meet.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
But yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to is you getting in there and seeing how the nationals works and how the cards works, and when you got 30 kids in one division and it's not one kid that's following themselves, it's a whole different ball game. So it's going to be fun. Ruskin's going to be in there, and then a couple weeks we got Wheel Walk games, then still Can West games coming up. So we got a lot of events coming up that we'll be talking about and
keeping you guys posted on.
Yeah. One thing I did want to give a shout out to is our listener Rick in Canada. Yeah, Rick's been a huge fan of the podcast. He found us on iTunes just searching for CrossFit Podcasts, and he's one of our biggest fans. He's always writing letters, and actually Tara gets them, and Tara had a phone conversation with him the other day. He ended up getting a couple Blade shirts.
Sent him some shirts.
Mailed to him, so really appreciate the support and you reaching out, Rick, and he wants to hear some more about some Masters competitions. So I think we're going to get some of our guests, our Masters competitors on as guests, because that program is just growing and growing, along with our barbell program. So
for sure,
we'll get those on and keep them going. But we appreciate everyone listening. Again, you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, watch us on YouTube. And until next time, guys, appreciate it.
Have a good one, guys. See you later.